Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Brother John Stewart on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, here to take y'all on another little walk with the word for the day. So today I got another beautiful lesson, actually about 5 different little lessons I'm going to come from you out of Proverbs. Of course, that's my favorite book, and it got all kind of interesting information in there that I want to get to y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it so I can make sure I have enough time to get it all in before the video ends. So the first lesson I'm bringing to you tonight, number 1, is out of Proverbs chapter 23, verses 4 and 5. So in Proverbs 23, 4 and 5, the Lord tells us this. He says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. That's kind of deep. You know, I think it's ironic to me that on our money, at least the physical kind, or the kind that folds or whatnot, and our coins, not this Bitcoin and all the digital stuff, but on our physical money, it's printed on the money, in God we trust. That's ironic to me because we've actually turned our back away from the real God, and money has become our God. And we display that even on the money itself. Because if you look at an old quarter, it says in God's we trust on it, obviously, but if you look at it, George Washington's face is facing toward that statement. So it's like we're facing toward God. But if you look at new quarters, I can't remember exactly what year it started, but if you go look at new quarters, it also says in God we trust, but George's face is facing away from the statement, symbolizing how we left God and replaced him with money. See, his face is facing away from the statement because we've actually turned our back against God. And his back is against the word of God. The statement saying that we believe in God because God is our money. This is why the country has become so immoral, because the love of money is the root of all evil. And I know people, like when they quote that verse, they misquote it. They say money is the root of all evil. Money can't be the root of all evil. Money is just a tool. It's something you use. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. And that's what America has come to love. That's what we replaced our God with. We replaced our God with money. And that's why this country has become so evil. You know, it was 3 different times where Jesus specifically warned us against being rich. It was 3 different times he spoke on how having money can put you in a bad situation. There was a situation when he was talking about this story, this guy named Lazarus and this rich man, you know, and they both, when they was on earth, of course, the rich man was rich, had everything he wanted, and then Lazarus was actually poor, and then when they died, Lazarus got to go to heaven, and the rich man was in hell. You know, and the rich man looked up like, hey, man, send Lazarus over here to stick his finger in my mouth, let me suck some water off his finger. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it was, you know. But God told him, well, Abraham told him, no. Like when you was on heaven, when you on earth, you had everything. Lazarus had nothing. Now you in hell, and Lazarus have, you know what I'm saying, he has all he needs for forever. So, you know what I'm saying, he was warning us and that to watch out for your money. It's obviously that man put his money before God while he was on earth. There's another situation. There was a rich man, he had a barn, and he had this bumper crop come in, and his barn was too small to hold it all. So he's like, man, I got so much money, I got so much stuff, I'm gonna have to tear my old barns down and build me some new ones. Then I can sit back and kick my legs up. And then it said, God said, you fool, your soul's gonna be required of you tonight. So again, it indicates that he put more money, more effort into his money and his riches than he did his relationship with God. So most likely when he died, he went to hell. And then there was another situation where a guy came to Jesus, he was preaching. And he's like, good teacher, what must I do to, you know what I'm saying, to be saved, basically, to get to heaven? And Jesus like, well, just obey all the commands. And the guy was like, well, I've done all that. So he felt good about it. So he said, oh, yeah, there's one other thing you got to do. Give away everything you own to the poor and then come follow me. And the dude ran away crying because the guy was rich. And then Jesus made this statement. He says, easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. You know what I'm saying? Then there's another place where he said, man cannot serve 2 masters. He'll love the one and hate the other. You cannot serve God and money. So you got to understand something. If you're making a choice to put all your time and energy into laboring to be rich, you're not only wasting your life for something that's temporary and leave behind something eternal, you're also laboring for your own destruction. Number 2, Proverbs 23:9. He says, speak not in the ears of a fool, for he would despise the wisdom of thy sweet words. Man, that's beautiful. A trap that a lot of us Christians get caught up in is trying to convince people that they should believe in God, when really that's not our job. You got to understand something. It's not our job to convince people that they should believe in God. It's our job to share the word with those who want to hear it. But it's the Holy Spirit's job to do the conviction. And because of this, we find ourselves often in debates with those non-believing people trying to prove to them that God is real. You know what I'm saying? And all you're doing, once again, is wasting your time. Because in Psalms it says, the fool have said in his heart, there is no God. So if they don't believe that there's a God, then that makes them a fool. And that's why I don't debate with people. Even since I've been doing these TikToks, I've had people try to say little stuff, put little comments in my video. There's one guy, some white guy gonna put in there, I can't believe you teaching Christianity. They use it to enslave your people for hundreds of years. Man, get the F out of here with that. I don't want to hear that, bro. But that's a fool, and that's why I don't debate. I don't even respond to negative comments. The ones that's encouraging, I give a heart. If they talking about stuff like that, I just go on past it. You know what I'm saying? Because what'll happen is you'll spend your precious time doing something out of love that they'll end up hating you for. Number 3, Proverbs 23, 13 and 14. It says, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell. You know, we've let all these psychologists and doctors convince us that whooping our children is wrong and it messes them up, when in actuality, it does the opposite. Because in Proverbs 13:24, it says, if you spread a rod, you hate your son. I know most people, when they quote that, they say spread a rod, spoil the child, but that's not what it says. It says if you spread a rod, you hate your child. You see, not whooping your child is actually showing them that you don't love them. I mean, look at our children in our society today. They are so disrespectful, they're violent, you know what I'm saying? And they're addicted to everything, constantly killing themselves over stupid stuff. Why? Because we've had the last few generations of kids growing out without butt whoopings. They growing up without butt whoopings. Kids have to learn that there's consequences for their actions, not only in this world, but in the next one as well. So that's why when you give them that butt whooping, it keeps them out of hell, because you're teaching them there's consequences for their actions. So if you want your child to know that you really do love him, you better make sure you whoop that ass. Yeah, I said it. Number 4, Proverbs 24, verse 10. It says, if you faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Oh, that's a hard pill to swallow there. So you got to ask yourself, how do you handle pressure? When life gets to kicking you in your butt, do you fold or do you keep going? You know, there's a lot of people that will claim to be Christians, but as soon as they face a little adversity, they fall back from the word. I mean, soon as the roads get rough, they get to going. You see what I'm saying? And if you are one of those people, then according to this verse, that means you're weak. You know, a lot of times it's hard for us Christians to understand why it seems that we go through the most. You know what I'm saying? We always seem to be going through something. It's always raining and pouring on us. But you got to understand, it's because of this verse right here. Because adversity is the way God weeds out the weak from the strong. Because if you're going to truly serve the Lord, you're going to have to be able to weather the storms. Because I'm telling you something, bro. If you serve the Lord, those storms are coming, you know. But you got to also understand, it's in those storms that you show your strength, but it's also in those storms that you receive your biggest blessings. And number 5, Proverbs 24, 15 and 16. Lay not wait, O man, wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falleth 7 times and raises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Man, I love this verse right here, especially as a minister. Because as leaders of the church or a ministry, or even you just someone that's trying to be a good Christian, you know what I'm saying? We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. You know, we want to make sure we do our best to check off all the little boxes for what it means to be a Christian. We work so hard to make no mistakes so we fit into this little Christian image that the world has put upon us. And that's not what being a Christian is all about. It's about celebrating that even though I'm imperfect and even though I'm going to fall at some point, I don't have to stay down. You know, I try my best as a minister to be the perfect servant that the Lord made me to be. But I'm going to tell y'all, at some point, my shortcomings are going to come to the forefront. But guess what? It's okay. It's okay that's going to happen, because this verse states that even the righteous fall. But because we have hope in Jesus Christ, guess what? We can get right back up again. And that has been your little walk with the word for today. I pray these are blessing y'all. Make sure you like, comment, follow, share. Catch me on Facebook Live Monday night. And till next time, peace.